Hey, this is Radiowalli from the Radiowalli roller coaster, and we are here at Lyca headquarters. You can see the big smile on my face. You can see I'm buzzing because I am with the super sensational, the British singer, known to you guys all at home as Navin Kundra, but to me, a very close friend in the industry and outside, but also a big part of the Lyca Parivar. Navin, welcome to Lyca headquarters.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to be here and to see you looking wonderful as always.
It's so nice. It's been an absolute day and an age since we've seen you. How have you been keeping? You, by the way, are looking fantastic and are looking fabulously fit. What is going on? People in lockdown are supposed to, fell off. I like Raita. And here we got Navin giving people like Shahrukh and the Vickies of the world a run for their money. Reveal the secret.
I have been on a bit of a fitness journey.
Just a bit?
Yeah, because I made, my previous concerts, the Voice of Legends concerts that I've been touring. At the end of the last one, I teased the 90s edition, which is the new tour that we're going to talk about later on. And I was singing Oh Johnny Jana. I was performing the song. And, my shirt was a little bit loose. So my shirt was a little loose. And someone shouted, "Oh, take your top off." Because
I don't know if that was me.
Because obviously Salman Khan, that's quite iconic.
That he does, yeah.
And so in that moment, adrenaline's pumping. I'm excited. I've performed, and I'm like, yeah, you guys, if you come to the next tour, I'll take my top off during this song.
Verbal commitment.
And they remembered. So as soon as I announced the 90th edition, I was like, "Oh, you're taking your top off. You're taking your top off." I was like, oh my God. So I've literally lost about 2.5 stone.
That's
over the past three months or so. Been in the gym, trying to eat clean, trying to eat healthy.
Wow.
I'm nowhere near where I want to be for that moment, but I don't like to make promises that I can't keep.
You look absolutely amazing. And I can say that because I've known you for what, 13, maybe 14 years?
Yeah.
So something like that.
Oh, that's very sweet. It means a lot.
We'll talk about our journey, where it began later on. But so for those of you who are thinking, who is this amazing stud? So Navin Kundra is a British-born singer, and you've had a phenomenal journey with music itself. But unlike most other people, you don't actually have a musical family or a musical heritage that you come from. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, I don't have I have a family that loves music and appreciates music. I learnt a lot of, I got to listen to a lot of great music from my grandfather, from my father, so we've always had music in the house, but none of them are professional musicians or artists. So I think I'm the first that kind of took, the seed of passion that my grandfather had and passed it on to my father, and my father passed it on to me. And, I remember Dad bought me a keyboard, and I started playing, and I would pick songs up really easily. I'd listen and play by ear, and just find the notes. I started playing with 2 hands, and Dad was like, you play really well. Why don't you try singing? And I did, and I liked it, and everyone started listening. They were like, well, you've got a really good voice. You're actually singing in tune.
You're actually really good.
So then, that's kind of how I got into it.
And am I right in also thinking that you never actually went and professionally trained with music or learned things? It was also almost a self-taught journey.
Yes. I mean, the truth is, like, my teachers are all the great music that's out there.
All the legends.
So I've kind of, all the legends. And I've learned, and that's actually the inspiration behind those concerts. It was actually to say thank you, to say a prayer to, and to pay tribute to those legends that gave me my voice. That's why I call it Voice of Legends. Not saying that I am the Voice of Legends. It's to say, like, I wouldn't be here without these legends that gave me my voice. So, I wanted to start my own independent journey, producing concerts, just giving back and saying thank you to them and showcasing, because I don't want, also, I have a following that, it's a family following. So there's young kids, it's very cross-generational, and I don't want that music to be lost on the new kids that are coming through.
I love that.
So I wanted to keep it alive, but in a way that they would understand, and it's fun, it's relatable. So yeah.
That's amazing. So, and I think for me, one thing I always want to mention is, typically within our South Asian communities, the career that's pushed is doctor bano, engineer bano, accountant bano. So how did your family and your friends react? More so your family, when you didn't take the conventional route of the career path?
So I feel very blessed and very lucky that, my parents were just so supportive from the outset.
Yeah.
They did always say to me, you can do whatever you want, but you must study hard. Got to get a good education.
Yeah.
And I was always, my dad especially, always made sure that I was slightly ahead. So, I'd be in, like, I don't know, year 7, and I'd be reading year 9 books and studying them. So I was a real geek actually in school, like 11 A stars, GCSE, student of the year, all that stuff. So I literally had kind of, I really applied myself to my studies and education, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. I just, I've always been a hard worker, and I enjoy working hard on something that, when there's something you're trying to achieve at the end of it, a result. And then once I went to university, I got a degree in business and psychology. So I did all of that stuff. I even went on to having a corporate career. Like I was working in finance.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
But all along I was doing music, and I think mum and dad knew that this guy, our son, he loves
that's
music.
Where the heart
He's very
is.
passionate about. That's where his heart is. And I made the jump about 4 years into my career, my finance career, because I was doing both at the same time. There used to be this running joke in the office that I was a banker by day and a rocker by night.
I like that.
And it just got to a point where I couldn't do both at the same time anymore. International, but I'd released Theatre. I was being booked internationally. I was having to fly. I'd finish work on a Friday, take a flight Friday night, land Monday morning after, from Canada, wherever, and then get changed at the airport, straight into the office. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think it helps, isn't it, having, the family support. It's a big part, and certainly, absolutely. I mean, I've got a lot of love for your mum. She's a big listener of Lyca.
And she loves you as well. She was like, can you message Radiowalli? Can you just tell her? And she knows who's Radiowalli. She doesn't know you by
everyone knows me as Radiowalli. That's the best part.
But that's it. Like, I know you personally, so I know your name and people that are close. But she's like, Radiowalli.
Do you know what I've got to say? I think that for me is it's so refreshing to hear. And similar to yourself, I have listeners who are younger, older. I have grandparents listening in with their young, with their grandchildren.
Yeah.
So so I can relate when you say you're trying to create something for everyone. So obviously you started with the Voice of Legends, and now we know where the name was inspired from.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about Voice of Legends 1 and 2 and how that came about.
Yeah. So, I have grown up in this industry, and I've been to all the concerts, all the shows, like the biggest idols, they come from India, like Sonu Nigam ji, who I absolutely love. I've seen Arjit Singh, I've seen Rahat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, I've seen, and I get so inspired by what I see, and I'm like, why can't talent here create something like that?
Agreed.
So I realized very quickly that there's no one here that's producing concerts on an international level that look and feel like the ones that come from abroad. And there's obviously reasons for that, because there's a Bollywood industry there. They're famous. Their distribution is worldwide. They're very well known, and great. And it's a machine out there.
It is.
Whereas here, it's not that. There's a handful of independent artists. They're all doing their thing. But here, we kind of get limited to working kind of the clubs or the dinner and dances or the weddings.
There's a logistic red tape.
And the millers and that kind of thing. So I was like, well, I want to create an international level concert. I want to create a concert that, what was in my head was that I want to sing and perform these songs like as if the actual singers were there in the audience in front of me. So Rafi Saab is there, and I'm singing this song to him. So just so that he can see, as a student of his, this is where I've got to. But also, I want to put on an experience for the listeners, that they're not just come to see a concert and someone's standing there singing. They're actually part of something.
Yeah.
So I added dancers, I added a live band. We switched the songs up. I had full-on production where the visuals sync with what's happening on stage. And that's, it was to basically take the level of shows produced here up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I became a concert producer in that way. And I love it because I get such a buzz from singing and performing live. I think every artist, I'm sure they tell you they love live music.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, you host shows and, you know, you see the energy from people. And
it is, that audience is, so obviously my show's called The Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
And I always say on air that my audience is my petrol.
Yes.
They keep the roller coaster going.
Wow.
And it is that,
nice.
it's that energy, the energy they give you is how much more energy you can give them back. So I guess coming on to the legends that you grew up listening to.
Yeah.
You know, Rafi Saab, Kishore Da, Kumar Da, to an extent, you know, Amit Kumar. What was the very first song that you, because when we're growing up, there's always one song that kind of stands out a bit more. What would you say that song? In fact, rather than tell us, we've got this beautiful piece between us. I feel like our listeners, because my listeners, they like to get involved. They like to see a bit of live action. So rather than tell us, what was that one song that kind of you grew up with that was, you know, a little bit of inspiration behind Voice of Legends 1 and 2. How about a little demo, Navin?
I can do a little demo. Let me just leave the guitar here for a moment, because where I learnt these songs from was my dad used to sing them in the car.
Amazing.
My dad used to sing these songs in the car, and that's where, you know, I'd be sat in the back, young little kid, listening, and my dad would just be singing his heart out, and he would sing songs like "Oh mere dil ke चैन चैन आए मेरे दिल को दुआ कीजिए, and then मेरी भीगी भीगी सी पलकों पे रह गए जैसे मेरे सपने बिखर के, जले मन तेरा भी किसी के मिलन को, अनामिका तू भीतर से. So these were all classic songs that you know, and I was like, I didn't hear the originals for so long after that.
Yeah.
They were just songs that my dad used to sing in the car, and I would sing along with him. Didn't even know what it was, so young at that time. But it's beautiful. I think that's why singing and live music is in me.
Yeah.
But more than anything, my biggest reason for creating the concerts wasn't, you know, it was to do all of that stuff, but it was actually to give people an experience. Yeah. You know, whenever I produce a show, it's a very audience centric. Yeah. Because I want to take them on a journey. I don't want anyone to come to one of my shows and just sit there and watch and listen and clap at the end. Yeah. I want you to, like, you're going to come on this journey with me. You're going to sing with me. We're going to laugh. We're going to dance. We're going to cry together. Yeah. We're going to, you know,
we're going to go through the roller coaster.
We're going to go through the roller. Yeah. A roller coaster is a lot, and it is literally that, because I believe that we go through life. There's a lot of stress. Yeah. It's very difficult. Everyone's got their own. Yeah. Everyone's going through something, and sometimes in the process of that, you lose yourself. Yeah. And the things that bring you back to yourself are the things that you really love. Yeah. Music, take you back to a time. Yeah. A happy time. When you're carefree and you're not caring, you're not thinking about the stresses that you're always thinking about. You're taken into a different environment, immersed in a different world. All of a sudden, you remember who you really are. Yeah. That's why I created the shows.
That's amazing. And obviously for all our listeners and viewers at home that love the what I call the golden era. Yes. Obviously we've got our sister station, Lyca Gold, who are the exclusive radio partner.
They are
for the show. So please do tune into them as well. So coming on to now Voice of Legends 3. Now I'm super excited about this one because it's not a secret. I absolutely love and adore my 90s hour. In fact, I love it so much that we have 2 hours a week dedicated on the roller coaster.
That's probably my playlist. That's probably my playlist that you have there.
Is.
What's your favourite 90s song, by the way?
Oh, do you want commercial or non-commercial?
I want top 3.
Oh, top 3. Okay, so for me, it's got to be Jurm, Jab Koi Baat, because it was the one song that you grew up listening to. Yeah. And then if we're going a little bit hatke, Hi Ranja.
Okay, very nice.
Rab ne banaya tujhe mere liye. And then the one that's probably very close to my heart is God and Gun, Tu Meri Ibtada Hai.
Oh wow! Okay, so these are really—they're not like the ones that
they're not, and I think that's the uniqueness of my '90s show, that there's something there.
So you actually go for the rare ones.
I go for something that you're not going to hear all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's similar to your concert. You're coming there for an experience,
yeah,
because you can go to music concert. There's lots of music concerts around, and I can say this firsthand, ladies and gents, because I've actually been part of Navin's concerts. In fact, in lockdown. Coming out of lockdown, your concert was the first concert that I came in semi-hosted behind the scenes for.
Yeah.
And the experience. We did
during lockdown as well, right?
It was
the virtual concert.
The virtual concert, yes. It was during lockdown. It was the virtual concert when we're legally allowed to do a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And it literally felt like I was just on my own with you on the stage. I forgot the fact that we've got 30 technicians running around behind the scenes. We've got caterers and assistants and X, Y, and Z. It was just an experience. So yes, definitely. So obviously coming on to the '90s concert, so very excited for a personal reason, but I'm sure for you probably means a little bit more, because this is where we are the '90s babies.
We are the '90s babies. This is an era that I didn't hear this music secondhand through my parents and my grandparents. We grew up to this stuff.
Yeah.
We were there when it came out. We watched the movies, obsessed over them, and it's amazing that now we're in 2020, 90s is like throwback.
Yeah.
It's nostalgic.
It's very nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's also a bit scary.
It is
when
scary,
someone says to me, this song is now 22 years old. And I'm like,
what? Yeah, I know, same. So there's a lot of memories, like personal memories and moments that are attached, to a lot of these songs. And I just think when people, they will come back to who they really are when they hear this. And when they see the way that we're going to perform it, I've got a full live band behind me, the 515 crew.
515 are absolutely amazing. I mean, I've worked with Hinel and the crew for many, many years. And then obviously we've got the AV boys.
AV boys, AVH.
So we've worked with them before. I've worked with them. I know they've been with you.
So AVH, Taj, Ambi, like the whole team. Like basically we have, full on production. So every visual is relevant to the songs that we're performing.
Amazing.
And then at the same time, I have Bollywood dance crew.
Stage ko chand lagane ke liye aa rahe hain.
Like 16 dancers on stage with all these props and all this, and they've really stepped it up this time. We were like, we need to go bigger, better, harder, faster, and choreography wise, I'm doing stuff that I've never done before.
Because I remember, I think was it G-Day, your first video that you danced in?
Yes.
So are we going to see more of this now?
Yes.
Super excited about that.
Yeah, you
because I remember watching that video and I kept thinking there was something about it that just reminded me of Michael Jackson. I can't explain why. And then I was thinking about this when I was driving in today. Michael Jackson, better known as MJ. Navin Kundra, better known as NK.
Ah, good. I like that.
Did you think about that one?
I like it. I like it. I think the reason for that was, again, thinking about how I could step this up, make it feel like an international show. Now, a lot of the artists that come from India, they don't really necessarily dance. Choreography is not really part of their performances.
No.
They're singers and that's what they do. And because for a lot of them, playback singing is their thing.
Yeah.
And it's filmed on someone else who's doing all the dancing.
Yeah.
But for me as an independent artist, like I'm creating the music, I'm producing it. I'm working with different producers, but we write the song. So I'm a songwriter. And there's an expression that goes with that. There's a feeling that goes with that. And when I look at the likes of Justin Timberlake or Beyonce or Usher, and they are full on dancing and choreography, like their performances.
It's a full show.
They're singing, they're doing all of that stuff. So I was like, well, I want to create that.
I love that.
I want to create that for what we're doing. And it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But the satisfaction and the response from everyone that's seen the show is like, it's been phenomenal. So I want to do more of that. I'm enjoying this process where it's a passion project for me.
Yes.
So it's
something a bit more special.
There's one thing being in the studio, writing your own music, releasing it, going out, performing it. That's amazing. But to actually perform songs that you love, that you've grown up to, that an audience loves and means something massive.
So if you could go back into the 90s era and you could sing for any one album, filmy or non-filmy. Let's go filmy.
Okay.
I'm a filmy person. Let's go film. If there's any one album, music album, as in a film of the 90s, that you could go back and be the singer for. So, you know, and I've worked with Gumarda. He's a very, very humble person.
Yes.
And he loves the fact that new people are trying new things. So, you know, you've got Gumarda, you've got, you know, he was the 90s kind of legend, wasn't he? And then obviously you had the female singers, and obviously we've got Rekha, who's going to be at the show as well.
Yes.
Who, again, I've worked with her in the past.
Brilliant
she
singer,
is an amazing singer.
She's fantastic.
So much love for her. So really looking forward to seeing the two of you and the electric
and there's a lot of duets.
Energy. I can imagine there is.
Pehla Nasha, Mujhe Neend Na Aaye.
Oh, that's one of my other 90s
favorites. Like, all,
amazing.
You know, they're all Tu Cheez Badi Hai Mast. Like, we're going to do all of that stuff.
So if you could go back, I mean, obviously, because the 90s was filled with people like Gumarda, then we had Alka Yagnik, Udit Narayan, Sadhna Sargam, etc., etc. If you could go back and take one album, one film to sing,
it would have to be my favorite movie, which is Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. And that has Tujhe Dekha Tu Ye Jana Sanam, Ruk Jao Dil Deewane, Ho Gaya Hai Tujhko Tu Pyar Sajna. They're all just so iconic. So if you could sing one, song.
Which one would it be? And don't tell us, sing it for us.
Tujhe dekha to ye jana sanam, pyar hota hai deewana sanam. Tujhe dekha to ye jana sanam.
Wow, that was amazing. How can you not? How can you not? Absolutely. So, talking about, you know, the film era and obviously having grown up with this, and that's where a lot of your inspiration came from. But if you were put on the spot in front of your audience of these legends, everyone from Rafi Saab down to the Arijits and Armans of today, and you had to sing something non-filmy.
Yes.
So you've got bands that do it.
Yeah.
What would it be for you?
अब मुझे रात दिन तुम्हारा ही ख्याल है, क्या कहूँ प्यार में दीवानों जैसा हाल है, दीवानों जैसा हाल है, तुम्हारा ही ख्याल है, हो आहा. La 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 la. I'll tell you why. That is by Sonu Nigam from the album Deewana.
Deewana, yeah.
And when I was very young, around 14 years old, or 14, 16, something like that, the album came out. And I heard it I heard it from start to finish. And in one sitting, and I heard the album. And as soon as it finished, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a singer.
Wow.
I remember it so vividly. And I knew about Sonu Nigam because I saw him on Saregama as a host.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard. That started my obsession with his songs, his music, his diversity, and just exploring. And then he really took off as a playback singer.
Yeah,
became massive.
That was his time, wasn't it? The 90s.
That was his time, and so that for me is a real pivotal moment.
Wow.
That's why I actually applied to be on Saregama, and I was represented. You know, the UK in the World Series. I was 19 years old. It's filmed my 19th birthday. And Sean had taken over by then.
Yes.
But
you've met Sonuji as well.
Yes, I've been very lucky to meet.
He was very complimentary of you.
Yeah, he's
as well. But you've been in front of some legendary names. So obviously Modi Ji. And I think we were both at the concert together.
Yeah.
And I think you had like 5 minutes, and you created like an amazing mashup. I love the fact that you actually personalized the song with Modi in it. I remember that. I remember filming it. And I think my hands were shaking so much because I was screaming. And my friend said, let me take this because otherwise no one's going to hear Navin singing.
The footage is like this.
It's going to be like this. No one's going to hear his voice because you're screaming over the camera.
Yeah.
But and then obviously Charles, our king.
Yeah, the king.
You made him sing Shadai.
The king and the queen, Mehbooba.
Mehbooba, sorry.
That's right. Yeah.
So you've had some really, really sort of really momentous moments in your journey. Yeah. But I think for me, the most special part of your journey was when Tere Liye released. It's not a secret. Wherever we go and Navin's on a stage and he sees me in the audience, he's like, oh no, she's going to make me sing Berelia. Even if it's a party, even on New Year's Eve, ladies and gents, I made him sing a line because, it's me. And I remember I was working on a different radio station then. And I think I was you were quite new to us at that point, or you were new to me.
Yeah.
And I remember doing the chart show, and 12 constant weeks, it was number one.
Yes.
And it was so, every week I would message Navin and say, guess who's number one again? And it was so exciting.
Amazing.
And it's always been my favorite song.
Wow.
There's a favorite line in it as well.
Yes.
And I couldn't not do an interview with you and not have you give me that line and that song.
Shall we pick this up?
I think we should. I think it's time.
Shall we pick this up?
A moment I've been so waiting for. Ladies and gents, you're about to experience something truly, truly magical. Navin Kundra, Tere Liye.
आँखों में देखूं तो कुछ खोया सा लगे, इन होठों पे ये हंसी झूठी लगे, तेरी इन बातों में कुछ छुपा लगे, तेरी अदाएं भी अलग सी लगे, प्यार के समुंदर में तू इन लहरों में खोई, तुमको नहीं है पता, तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं, तेरे लिए मेरी जान, तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें, तेरे लिए आसमां। जो लम्हे साथ बिताए वो प्यार का समा, जो सपने हमने देखे उनका हुआ क्या, इस आग में ना जाने क्यों हम जल रहे, कब से अंधेरों में हम यूं ही रहे, क्या बात है जो तेरा साया भी रूठा लगे, इतनी है क्यों दूरियां, तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं, तेरे लिए मेरी जान, तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें, तेरे लिए आसमां।
Wow, that was amazing. Oh, Navin, you brought back so many memories. You're making me very emotional right now. That was as amazing as the first time you sang that for me. And I remember you came down to the studios where we were working before in the other radio station.
Yeah.
And there was something even more special with the way you did it today. Your voice, the way you've evolved, the journey. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you grow.
Thank you.
From strength to strength. And one thing I will say, ladies and gents, as I said, I've known Navin for a long time. I've worked with a lot of artists. I've been really lucky in my career.
Yeah, you have.
To have worked with some really big names. But one thing that I think has always been very special, your humbleness has always remained. Like Navin will always say before a show, I'm really nervous.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous. And I always get really struck that how can you're Navin Kundra? You are now a household.
Massive.
And every time when he's at a show and I'll message, and sometimes I won't even tell him I'm there. I'll just turn up and he'll say, I'm so nervous. But you know what? And I think that's what keeps you as great as you've been. So thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Obviously we've got the show. All the details are going to be in the comments below.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment and let us know what your favorite 90s number is.
Let us know. Yeah.
Let's see if it choose the set list. Yeah, let's see if it makes the list. Navin, I always end my interviews with an exclusive, so I feel like you should give us an exclusive.
An exclusive?
Yes.
So, well, Radiowalli is going to be hosting Voice of Legends tour. So it kicks off the 10th of June in Queen's Theatre. You're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there.
I'm going to open the show. So
absolutely.
If you don't want to come to see me, come to see Radiowalli.
I promise you this is going to be the highlight of the show. But yes, I'm super excited to be hosting that. So we've got 10th of June in East London. Come and represent East London Massive. And then obviously you're off to Leicester.
Yes.
On the 18th of June
Father's
for
Day.
Father's Day, the perfect present.
Yeah.
And then of course,
5th of August,
you're back here at the Beck Theatre.
Yeah.
So Navin, once again, a big thank you
so
for
much.
coming down to Lyca headquarters, and we wish you all the best for the journey ahead.
Thank you so much.
And make sure you stay tuned to Lyca Radio and our sister station Lyca Gold for the best music around. Mucho piar.